most people believe they are in control of their lives. They think success comes from intelligence, discipline, or talent. But the truth is far more uncomfortable. Long before you speak, react, trust, quit, or chase something, your mind has already made the decision for you, quietly, automatically, subconsciously. Every day, men walk through life believing they are choosing their future, while invisible patterns from fear, rejection, childhood, validation, and survival are choosing it instead. That's why some people stay loyal to pain they claim to hate. That's why men sabotage opportunities they prayed for. That's why confidence disappears the moment pressure arrives. The subconscious mind doesn't care about your goals. It protects what feels familiar, even when that familiarity is destroying you. And here's the dangerous part. If you never become aware of these hidden decisions, you will spend years thinking life is happening to you, when in reality, you've been repeating unconscious programs on autopilot. The world rewards people who can recognize the patterns running them before those patterns quietly ruin their relationships, money, discipline, and identity. Because the moment a man becomes conscious of what secretly controls him, he stops reacting to life and starts leading it. Most men think decisions happen in the moment, but the truth is the moment was decided long before it arrived. A man walks into a room, hears a tone of disrespect, notices rejection in someone's face, or feels pressure rising, and within seconds, his subconscious chooses the reaction before logic even catches up. The anger, silence, overconfidence, withdrawal, or need to prove himself often comes from years of hidden conditioning, not present reality. Men are taught to appear certain, controlled, and emotionally strong. Yet many of their choices are quietly driven by fear of failure, fear of humiliation, or fear of not being enough. What makes this even more dangerous is that women often notice these subconscious patterns before men do. A woman can sense when a man is reacting from insecurity instead of confidence. She notices when his ego speaks louder than his purpose, when his need for validation controls the room, or when his silence hides emotional chaos instead of strength. People rarely respond to what a man says, they respond to the unconscious energy behind it, the subco. Subconscious mind leaks through body language, tone, timing, and behavior, revealing the truth a man is trying to hide even while he believes he is fully in control. Most habits are not built from discipline, they are built from memory. A man thinks he is simply repeating routines, but many of those routines were created years earlier through emotional experiences his subconscious never forgot. The habit of procrastinating after failure, avoiding vulnerability, chasing constant distraction, or working endlessly without rest often comes from old emotional conditioning disguised as personality. The subconscious mind stores pain like instructions. If a man was taught that weakness gets punished, he learns to hide emotion. If he was rewarded only when achieving something, he learns to attach his value to performance. Over time, those emotional memories stop feeling like learned behaviors and start feeling like identity. What many women notice is that a man's habits reveal what he truly believes about himself long before his words do. The way he handles stress, commitment, conflict, rejection, or attention exposes the emotional memories operating underneath his behavior. A woman can often enough whether a man is driven by purpose or running from unresolved insecurity. Some men stay busy because silence forces them to confront themselves. Others seek validation because deep down they still carry memories of not feeling respected, chosen, or enough. The subconscious repeats what feels emotionally familiar, even when that familiarity creates unhealthy cycles that slowly shape a man's entire life. Most men believe they make decisions based on logic, but fear is often the real voice behind their choices. A man may say he is being careful, realistic, or strategic, while subconsciously he is simply protecting himself from rejection, embarrassment, failure, or loss of control. Fear has a way of disguising itself as intelligence. It convinces men to delay opportunities, avoid difficult conversations, stay inside comfortable routines, or pretend they do not care about something they deeply want. The subconscious mind is designed to keep a man emotionally safe, not necessarily fulfilled, and that survival instinct can quietly overpower ambition, purpose, and growth. What makes fear powerful is that it rarely announces itself directly. Women often recognize it through behavior like RNG before men admit it to themselves. A woman can sense when a man becomes defensive instead of honest, emotionally distant instead of vulnerable, or overly dominant instead of secure. Many men confuse emotional control with emotional suppression, believing silence makes them strong, when in reality unresolved fear is controlling their reactions beneath the surface. Fear changes posture, tone, eye contact, patience, and decision-making. It can make a capable man play small, sabotage relationships, avoid commitment, or settle for less than he truly desires while convincing himself he is simply being rational. Most men think they are trapped by bad habits, but what truly controls them is the identity beneath those habits. A man who constantly quits, avoids commitment, chases validation, or destroys opportunities is rarely repeating random actions. He is repeating the version of himself his subconscious believes he is. If a man secretly sees himself as unworthy, he will unconsciously create outcomes that confirm it. If he believes strength means never needing help, he will isolate himself even when support could change his life. The subconscious mind always works to protect identity, even when that identity is painful, outdated, or self-destructive. What many women notice is that men often defend identities that are hurting them because those identities feel familiar. A man may call himself independent while emotionally disconnected, confident while deeply insecure, or ambitious while secretly terrified of failure. The world sees behavior, but behavior is usually the surface expression of a deeper self-image. Women often respond less to what a man claims to be and more to the consistency between his identity and his actions. A man who subconsciously believes he is respected moves differently, speaks differently, and handles pressure differently than a man constantly fighting internal doubt. Identity shapes tone, discipline, relationships, leadership, and the standards a man unconsciously accepts for his own life. Most men are not stuck because they lack potential. They are stuck because their subconscious is addicted to familiarity. The human mind confuses what is familiar with what is safe, even when that familiarity creates frustration, loneliness, financial struggle, or emotional emptiness. A man can complain about his situation for years and still protect the very habits, environments, and relationships that keep him there. Why? Because uncertainty feels more dangerous to the subconscious than unhappiness. The mind would rather repeat a painful pattern it understands than step into a future it cannot predict. That is why many men stay silent when they should speak, remain comfortable when they should grow, and delay action while convincing themselves they are simply waiting for the right time. What makes this struggle deeper is that men are often rewarded for appearing stable even when they are emotionally disconnected inside. Society teaches men to avoid risk, hide fear, and maintain control. So many choose comfort disguised as responsibility. Women often recognize this emotional stagnation before men do. A woman can sense when a man has stopped challenging himself, when his routines have replaced his purpose, or when his confidence is built more on avoiding failure than pursuing growth. Safety can become a prison when a man starts organizing his life around protecting his ego instead of expanding his identity. The subconscious mind quietly pulls him back toward environments, conversations, and behaviors that feel emotionally pretty. C-table, even if those patterns slowly drain his ambition, relationships, and sense of meaning. Everything begins to change the moment a man becomes aware of the pattern controlling him. Most people spend years reacting automatically without realizing the same subconscious cycle keeps appearing in different forms. The anger that shows up in relationships, the fear that appears before opportunities, the need for validation, the habit of pulling away when things become serious, the constant self-doubt hidden behind confidence, these are rarely random reactions. They are repeated emotional programs operating beneath awareness. A man who cannot recognize his patterns will continue blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck while unknowingly recreating the same outcomes in different environments. What makes awareness powerful is that the subconscious loses control the moment it is observed consciously. The instant a man notices why he becomes defensive, why he avoids vulnerability, why he seeks approval, or why success feels uncomfortable, he interrupts the automatic behavior that once controlled him. Most men think power comes from controlling others, dominating situations, or high. Ding emotion, but real power begins when a man can recognize himself honestly without running from what he finds. Self-awareness forces a man to confront the identity he built for survival and question whether it still serves the life he wants to create. What many women respect deeply is not perfection, but emotional awareness. A woman can sense when a man understands his own emotions instead of being unconsciously ruled by them. She notices the difference between a man reacting from wounded pride and a man responding with grounded confidence. Awareness changes posture, communication, patience, leadership, and emotional presence. The subconscious patterns that once created insecurity, emotional distance, or destructive habits begin to weaken because the man is no longer living unconsciously inside them. He stops operating on autopilot and starts making decisions from intention instead of hidden fear.